Hello and welcome to West Yorkshire Engine Services based in Bradford, West Yorkshire, the UK. A big thank you to all those that have subscribed to us channels. As you're probably aware of, I'm an independent Nissan specialist and I've been specialising in these vehicles for over 10 years now. So you can say I know a thing or two about the engines in the Nissan Navara, YD25 2.5 turbo diesel. Right, in this video is to help you if you've got a Nissan Navara crankshaft position sensor fault. Now there's a number of things that you need to be aware of that'll save you time and money in diagnosis and repair of a Nissan Navara crankshaft position sensor fault. Put my teeth in. Right, in today we've got a 2010 Euro 5 with a crank position sensor fault. If you have a look at there, it's a P0340 fault code, and that's basically what it's come in with. Now, the easy way to diagnose a crank position sensor fault without actually ordering a crank position sensor, because you might be wasting £100 on a part that you don't actually need. Now, one of the things I need to show you is, if you get a car in with a Nissan Navara crankshaft position sensor fault, one of the things that you can do to diagnose that is there's a cam position sensor fault, and they're absolutely identical. And the cam position sensor fault is located at the back of the cylinder head on the passenger side of the vehicle. Now what I want you to do is change the cam sensor for the crank sensor. Now if you do that, the fault code on your scanner will come back with a cam position sensor fault. Then at that point you can just order a cam position sensor. But there's a few other things. Now, so what I'm going to do with this particular car right now is I'm going to jump underneath and I'm going to change the crank position sensor fault. It only takes me 2 minutes, one bolt, a 10mm and a quarter drive. So I'm going to get under here and change it and see what sort of response we get. Because it's a 2010, it's a Euro 5 engine, and we're all wanting to know, is the Euro 5 going to have timing chain issues? If you've seen my other videos, you know the engine's got other issues, but this is the first time that we've got one in, hopefully, without a timing chain issue, for the customer that is. Right. Would I let that come out? Bit of lubricant. Sometimes the things in there, and when they're in plastic, they break really easy. Bit of the old lube. You have to get an awkward one when I'm doing a video, won't I? Come on. What a battle. Is it coming? Right, that's the old one. Right, that's the sensor change. That was a bit of a battle. They've got a rubber seal on them, and sometimes the oxidisation, look at that, get them gloves off. Yeah, you've got to be really careful. They break really easy, and they seize, that rubber seal seizes, so sometimes you just have to persevere and prise it out with a screwdriver. Right, so engine management lights on. We've come back with a crank position sensor fault. I've changed the sensor, so what we're going to do now is we're going to clear the fault, clear the code. Yes, fault code removed. So we should be able to start the car now, and hopefully, fingers crossed people, we've got rid of the problem. If not, we'll move on. There you go, engine management lights out. And she's revving as she should do now. 64,000 miles, coming up to 65. Thank God for the customer, it's not a timing chain issue. So this car will go back to Worcester now, which is about a 3 hours drive, 250 miles. Start her again, make sure engine management lights off. Turn her off, turn her on again, just scan her, make sure. Let's clear that. No codes present. Right. So, that was a simple fix, straightforward, 2-minute job, nice and easy for the customer. He isn't going to have to pay like £1,300 for a timing chain upgrade, but we'll take it from there. Now, there are a number of other reasons that if you have a crank position sensor fault, why, if you've had work done previously on the car, what could actually go wrong. Now, I was once doing a diesel filter. Now, the diesel filter's here, right above the crank position sensor fault, and one of the pipes had split. But to diagnose the split pipe, I pressurised the lift pump, and then all of a sudden I undid that pipe there, and I got absolutely showered in the face with diesel because I've pressurised the lift pump. But it thrown diesel down the side of the engine, and the diesel were making the sensor arc. So all I needed to do was take the sensor out, blow dry it with a jet gun, and then put it back in, and the sensor were fine. Another one is if you've recently had a flywheel and clutch done, what people don't tend to know is the flywheel has to be fitted in a specific place. Now, this is a dual mass flywheel for the D40, and as you can see there's an arrow, and on the back is a hole where a pin should go on the back of the crankshaft. So that arrow must line up with a pin on the crankshaft. and here's the back of a crankshaft. You see that pin there? That's where the arrow's got to line up. So there's the back of a crank out of 2010. Sorry to scare you guys. And then that goes in there like that, in that little hole. So what I normally do, guys, is this. Before you fit the flywheel, put a Tipp-Ex mark where the pin is. Because you can't see the pin when you fit that flywheel, but you can see that bit of the crankshaft. So that arrow will align with your Tipp-Ex mark. Right, one last thing. If, for instance, you've just done an engine rebuild job and you put the engine in the car and you're 100% certain that you haven't damaged the sensor when you took the engine out, what you've got is a timing chain issue. And there's other videos about timing chain issues. If you subscribe to this channel, as we get vehicles in, we'll share what we can and what we know with you. And if you've got any problems that are not on YouTube, feel free to get in contact. We don't mind helping you out where you are in the world, and give us a like.